along one of the trails in Hot Springs, there's an actual spring just coming out of the ground. And it is hot, or at least warm.
The Army Navy Hospital up there. Or at least used to be. Right?
It still is, I believe.
And they have boards in tile for checkers or chest. Okay, this is where the Imperial Bathhouse was, but it was torn down in 1937 to make way for the Grand Promenade.
How's the temperature?
It's hot. Like, I could take a bath in this.
You can take a drink.
No, that thing's so hot. No way.
The filling station that you can take jugs and you can fill it up with water from Hot Springs. This is the chemical composition of the water from the spring. You can take as much as you want, free. Just bottle up. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but there is steam coming off of this one. It's so hot. It comes out at approximately 145 degrees or something like that. Almost hot enough to boil.
Okay, we're going to be going down Bathhouse Road here. It's an American spa. It started in the 1830s, and we're going to learn all about it now. There's Buckstaff Bathhouse.
Open by appointment only.
Okay, here's the Ozark Bathhouse. Wow. Pretty cool. Okay, this is the Kappa Bathhouse. Now, if you'll notice, there's an Indian head above the entrance. The owner's good guy is on it. Kappa Indians. Okay, the next bathhouse is the Fordyce Bathhouse. It's currently a visitor center. It looks like this.
This is the actual entrance to the national park, and this is the way we came down from the truck after visiting and parking at the very top.
Okay, this one's from 1911, and it looks kind of like one of the smaller ones, I think, that we've seen. This is unreal. Look at this. Therapy in the water. While the guys are playing pool. Alcove here. Maurice Historic Spring area.
The dripping spring.
29.
The dripping spring. And if you watch closely, you will see the drift.
And here's the rest of the spring. Here's the tunnel to the spring. Okay, this is the Hale Bathhouse. It was built in 1892, but drastically altered in 1914 and 1939. Definitely looks a whole lot more modern than the other ones. Okay, this is Superior Bathhouse, built in the 1880s. It's the longest continuous operation of all hot spring bathhouses before closing in 1983.
Oh, 1829 was when it first opened.
Okay, and it's now over here. This was built back in 1893, the original, and it was to be a luxury hotel, just like you could get in New York or Chicago. It's called the Arlington. Okay, the Arlington Hotel, Hot Springs National Park, Hot Springs, Arkansas. And yes, the water is, oh! Okay, this is an example of what the springs actually look like. But starting in 1840s, people were tapping them so they could use them in the bathhouses. You see the steam coming off. Running down the wall. So even as far back in 1877, there were issues between those that didn't have enough money to pay to go into hot springs, to the bathhouses, and those that did.
Peak Trail.
And we are currently on the Peak Trail. It's a short, moderately steep route up Hot Springs Mountain to the peak.
In a recent study, the symptoms of depression and dementia are eased by outdoor activities, and urban green spaces support heart health while reducing obesity and diabetes rates. Get off the couch, get outside. That's what he says.
And yes, these women were dressed to hike these trails. Women wore long skirts and bonnets while men put on neckties and straw hats. Rest assured, that's not how we hike.
Peak Trail. Heaven forbid we end up on a hike called Peak Trail. Heading up to that observation tower up there. And it definitely had some grade to it, but we're almost there.
So we're getting our fire ready for day 2, or night 2.
Night 2.
Night 2.
It's thinking about it.
Oh, it was still hot from last night. All we had to do was put some pine cones and some small branches on there, and it took off beautifully. So our fire is so hot, it's burning the wood that we put up on the grill to dry out. Oops. Okay, we're here to go diamond hunting, and we're having a hard time taking this seriously.
Yes.
There are people that have like a huge wagon full of stuff, and yeah, not us, but that's okay. We'll see what this is about.
There's my lovely bride hard at work, finding the next Hope Diamond.
So now if you think about it, they find approximately 1,000 diamonds a year. And if you look at your finger and see the diamond on your finger to see how big it is, and then you think of all the land that's right here, that's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. haystack. But the search just kind of makes it fun and part of history. Okay, so mathematicians really shouldn't become diamond hunting because all we keep thinking about is the odds. And I told Todd, I'm like, okay, so if 1,000 diamonds are found a year, that's like 2.75 a day. And then Todd came up with well, if more than that are found during a certain time, that means you could go 3 weeks with nothing being found.
Yep.
So I'm thinking it's almost time for lunch. What do you think, hon?
It's there.
And this is the Northwest Pavilion. And all these people in here flashing what they think they have and throwing out bad stuff, I guess. And this is one person's stuff that they brought to try to find a diamond. It goes way down that direction, by the way. To where you can't see.
Way beyond that watering trough there.
How many acres is it, Todd?
38 acres, I think it is, or something like that. Goes over the top of that next hill, too.
The only major finds we found was a shoe full of dirt. He stepped in a mud hole. Such an absolute peaceful, relaxing afternoon as we're sitting here by the fire in the lake. And Todd did find some trees that have started to change colors. I don't know if above her head. The only problem with the fire is the smoke. But where there's a will, there's a way. Or a fan, as Todd says. So you set up the fan, you face it towards the fire, and it blows the smoke away. Genius!